Okay, because one of the initial inventors of this Hall effect used originally this idea, this plasma idea, on his diesel truck, and this was I think Robert's idea in the beginning too. Anyway, he put it on his a Cummins diesel truck, small truck. It was a tandem wheel pickup, and he drove that to our initial meeting with it, and he got in the 30s with that truck. Now, if you know, understand what we're talking about here, we're talking about a truck that probably would get, I don't know, 15 miles a gallon with a diesel, maybe 20. I don't know. But he was getting in the 30s, mid 30s, I believe. Uh, so it did quite well. Now, to me, considering all the things I had to do on my RX-7, this idea of just throwing the system on a diesel made a lot of sense. So I talked to everybody, and we finally decided to try it on a 2002 VW Jetta TDI diesel. It was a used car, as you understand. It was used. I think it had 150,000 miles on it, and so we bought the car. We baselined it on a dyno the day I bought it, and the car put out 51 horsepower at the rear wheels. I'll talk about that quite a bit elsewhere here. Uh, then I took the car and test drove it for 4,000 base miles. The car got between 34 and 40 miles per gallon most of the time. On one occasion, I actually got 50 miles to a gallon. That was a trip from Dover, which is about 35 miles from here. In that trip, I hypermiled the car, as Pat Goss from Motor Week would say, and so I did the best that car could do, I'm sure. Uh, so when you read about these 2002s, 2001s in eBay where they're trying to sell them and they say they get 50 miles a gallon, they're lying. They just don't. Normal one of these things will get. Uh, Driving around here, we drive normally 6, 5, 8 mile trips. You're going to see about 34 miles to a gallon with it. Might see 36 on a good day, but that's about it. Uh, Now, after we baseline the car, uh, we did quite a few other tests, and I'm going to show you a video clip of that car actually achieving 124 miles to a gallon at 50 miles per gallon average. And also, we baselined the car through the 2 mile, that same 2 mile test, and we saw on 5 different occasions, I would say, between 52 and 60, according to whatever all the conditions. So I'm going to show you a test here on our clip that where the car achieved almost a 300% gain, 225% gain in fuel mileage. And as I said, we're going to show you a dyno test where the thing actually achieved 100% gain in horsepower and almost that kind of a gain in torque. So that's a pretty amazing achievement. If your eyes aren't open yet, I'm going to show you some other things that it'll certainly open them later. Okay, today we're reproducing the original run that Charles and I did together a couple weeks ago, where we obtained 113 miles to gallon average for this trip. It's about a 2-mile trip. And so far we're going 103. We've got 103 miles per gallon right now, 121 average. Looks like we're going to do better than we did with Charles. There's no wind ahead of us now. There's no headwind, so we do better.
up at 4 o'clock, NPR's All Things Considered, and coming up next, a concerto for piano and orchestra by the other Schumann, a concert suite by Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. This hour is sponsored by the Joshua M. Freeman Foundation and Freeman Stage in Bayside. Washington National Opera will feature their Domingo Catherick's Young Artist Program at Delaware Technical and Community College.
Looks like we're going to do a lot better than we did before.
Friday, 3rd at 7 p.m. Tickets and information are online at freemanstage.org. For the rest of the afternoon, plenty of sunshine, mild temperatures, highs low to mid-60s.
And again, we did the original test in the wind, and that was 53 miles to gallon. We're doing it without a wind today. And it looks like we're going to get about 121. We went down this hill and we shut it off right about here. So you got to see what we got.
Cutting edge work.
Okay, now I'm going to show you where the white car is today in terms of what we have installed on it. You just saw the incredible 128 mile per gallon run that we did over 2 miles with it. I did over it. We had done a similar test a week before, and we got something less than that, about 121. But nevertheless, it's still incredible. The baseline on that car through that same 2 mile test would be in the order of between 52 and 60 miles per gallon at 50 miles an hour. We tested it maybe 4 times and always saw something in that range. So 121 the week before was incredible. This is even more so. Here we go. This is the 2002. It's a little easier to tell what's going on with it because we don't have everything down in the wheel well where we normally put them. This has a coil pack on it and a 6-pack, and this kit's about the same mileage as the red car. Stock, it gets a little better than the red car, so it's hard to say whether it's doing better or worse, but it gets about the same mileage, 43.5 about. Okay, we're going to look underneath the hood of the 2002. As you can see, the coil pack here is facing the intake water, or the top water hose, and it's hooked up to the positive terminal, which comes right straight off of the alternator. This is the box where all the wires, the positive wires, come out of on this particular car. And it also has a 6-pack here that is facing the water hose. And down below in here you can see the oil probe, which remains on this car from earlier testing. So we just went ahead and used it again just to see if it made any difference. And so far it hasn't. And that leads up to the water hose, and that's got 3 wraps on it. And that comes out of the positive lead on the coil pack. And that's all the modifications on this particular car, except for it does have underneath here a unit chip. And that's a DOS driven unit chip. It's been on the car since we first started testing it with the Hall effect. And it's about 50% reduction in fuel delivery. That's about it. So if you think what you've seen is good, well, obviously you're right. I mean, this is pretty far out stuff, but you have not seen the best of it. We actually have some tests here that go much further than this on the second part of this tape. Things that continue to boggle your mind. The dyno test, the failed test that I did on my blue car, the 2011, and the incredible gold car test that we did at nighttime with Rich and I. So hang in there, look at the second part. You're not going to be disappointed. See ya.